for North Dakota, and member of the House Judiciary Committee. Kelly Armstrong joins me. Good evening, sir. And at a minimum, have you had access to the audio, even for a short time, that you can compare it to the transcript to make sure that your transcript is accurate?
No, we haven't, but I think it's more important. I don't know what they're talking about securing cooperation. The ghostwriter tried to delete this stuff, and then they found it on his computer. So the argument that you won't secure cooperation in the future, this is the best evidence available. We're entitled to the best evidence available, and we have every right to hear it.
And, of course, you've got the fact that they think people aren't going to come voluntarily. I mean, there is such a thing as a subpoena. So, actually, I mean, when the AG put that in the letter that if we give the audio over to Congress, we don't think people will tell us things. Well, there is such a thing as subpoena, and they will tell.
Yeah, you know, if I hear one more DOJ official talk about, like, in order to conduct an investigation, you have to walk uphill to and from school in order to conduct it, I think I'm just going to throw up a little, Greta. They have all the tools in their toolbox to do these things. And I want to know if the transcript matches the audio, and I think the American people do as well.
Well, at a minimum, they should let you go into a room and, I mean, let them, I mean, I think they probably have an obligation of the oversight to turn over the audio. But I mean, but you should be able to check the audio to the tape to make sure that it's accurate.
Well, 100%, but also it's just generally, I agree with Chairman Comer, it's not their position to tell us what evidence they have that they are willing or not willing to turn over. They have the best evidence of this conversation, and that's an audio recording. That's what oversight and judiciary are asking for, and there's absolutely no good legal reason to provide it, but there's apparently a pretty good political reason to try and run out the clock.
Well, they're also worried you're going to release it to the public, and perhaps the president won't sound, you know, as compelling on an audio tape as you do in reading, because reading a transcript is, frankly, is very different than what you hear on audio. But now that you haven't gotten it, are you going to? What steps are you going to take to get it? What further steps?
I'm going to meet with Chairman Jordan. We'll talk to Chairman Comer. I think the number one is to figure out if there's any mechanism where we can be as aggressive as possible to get this, so we don't allow DOJ just to run out the clock.
Well, you could, I suppose, hold the Attorney General in contempt, but he's not likely to prosecute himself for contempt.
Yeah, contempt orders, I mean, usually when Congress is using them, what we're really trying to do is get the information. And what you said is just exactly true. We have to figure out what the best mechanism possible is. And by the way, the whole thing worrying about turning it over to the American people, this is the American people's business. This is something they have a right to see. This is something they have a right to hear. This is absolutely the best evidence of the testimony that Special Prosecutor Hurd gave us at that hearing. And the American people deserve to hear the best evidence.
Plus, there are two other things. One is it's a closed case. It's over, at least as far as that investigation. Secondly, the American people paid for the investigation. They paid for the audio tapes. They paid for the transcripts. They paid for everything else. They paid for the special counsel. They paid for the president, but then they don't get it.
Well, and that's a very important point, and I'm glad you made it. During the pendency of investigations, you know this, the DOJ is notoriously tight-lipped, and actually as somebody who used to work with them, I think that is a good thing. You want to deal with these things. But once the case is over, that is public record, and they don't have the right, nor do they have the authority not to turn it over.
Well, we're learning all about presidential public records in the past 2 years. Anyway, Congressman Kelly Armstrong, thank you, sir.
Thank you.